What's up, guys? Welcome to DC FANDOME, and the Farooqi brothers will be covering it all day. Let's kick us off with the first four big things that have happened, and we'll start with Wonder Woman 1984. So obviously they wanted to kick off with a big movie, and this is their biggest movie. Got delayed a few times, of course, but hopefully it's coming out this year. So basically we saw, Gal Gadot, Patty Jenkins, we saw Linda Carter, a lot of people, Pedro Pascal, and they showed off the second main trailer. I think it's second or third, right? So the second, I think they called it.
Second.
The second trailer of Wonder Woman 1984. And I'll start and give my quick thoughts right away. And I think that, I kind of like the first trailer better. But, one thing about Wonder Woman is that, Patty Jenkins is going to kill it when the movie comes out. I think at this point, this movie, since it got delayed so many times, it feels like, we've already kind of passed the bridge, even though we never crossed it. Because everyone was hyped for it to come out last June. Not last June, yeah, this previous June that just passed right now. And now it's always getting delayed more and more. So even this trailer, in my head, I'm like, this movie should have already been seen almost. So I don't know if that kills the hype, but it's one of those weird things that it's hard to explain. But overall, I'm excited for the movie. I think this trailer was not as great as the first one because I like the more dramatic trailer over the comedic ones. But I did think Cheetah's real reveal was interesting. What do you guys think? Anyone can go.
I agree. I mean, the tone of this one's a little more lighter, but I don't think that will actually be a big I don't think that'll be a hindrance to the film, really, because it is set in that 80s vibe, 80s theme type of aesthetic that Patty's trying to create for this film. And I think that really lends well into the lighthearted nature of Wonder Woman, at least the way they're trying to show her. But I don't think that will mean there won't be deep scenes or more in-depth look at Wonder Woman as a character and really breaking her down. And her story, I mean, Master Lord, let's see how he does. There wasn't really a lot of him in the trailer. I mean, he did narrate some things, but this was more focused on, I guess, Cheetah's reveal, which I think the design was pretty good. It wasn't like people worried it's going to look like cats or something like that. But I think they did a pretty good job with keeping it realistic, but also giving that comic book vibe. So overall, I think the trailer looks pretty good. Yeah.
Umar, you've been hyping it up for a while. So how's your hype gone up or down since, the first teaser reveal?
Like you said, it feels like a bridge that we've already crossed, but we didn't. So, I think the fans are getting kind of tired. We want to just see the movie. So, but I'm excited. The cheetah reveal was nice. I like the fact that they went kind of, they went fully into it basically. Like they didn't really pull their punches, and I think I'm excited to see like what kind of crazy stuff they're gonna do. Just because they're showing things like Wonder Woman swinging off lightning in the last one, and this one she's swinging off clouds or something weird. So I'm excited to see basically what type of new powers that we're gonna see her do her thing.
Yeah, and at one point you got to say that, are we seeing too much? Or first of all, we got to stop right there. Swinging on clouds, Umar.
It was the same shot. It was the same lightning shot.
Yeah, it was the same. I think there was a point that she was flying.
In the beginning of the trailer, she was swinging on a cloud. There was no lightning.
Yeah, but there wasn't lightning.
Threw her lasso into the air.
Yeah, you think she's flying? Yeah, meaning she's throwing that, swinging on a cloud. She throws it to the ground.
She flew off the ground.
We're gonna keep on saying. I'm gonna say from my audience, this is what happens when shots think they're smart. We don't think what they're saying.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying just hearing you saying one of them was swinging on a cloud, I thought it was a...
It's because Sean is so emo. He wants to see her swing off lightning. It's dark. It's okay.
Umar, why'd you
swing off clouds? Who cares?
So Umar, is it still better than Aquaman 2? Or
yeah, that was your big thing.
I mean, it's better than Aquaman 1.
No, he said the poster was better than Aquaman.
Yeah,
is that Aquaman
this is something that happened.
Let's see. I'm excited for it, just like I was for Aquaman. So
right. And Samir, do you think at one point you're seeing too much of the movie, or do you think that they're still keeping some of their best stuff off the trailers?
I don't think we're seeing too much of the movie. We've only seen 2 trailers so far. Like Zion said, we haven't seen much of that character. I forget who the character is.
Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think at this point, the last point I'll make is that, do you think, and anyone can answer, this is an open question, do you think that this movie has to come out in theaters, or if it doesn't come out by the end of December, it's still on HBO Max? Anyone can go.
Business-wise, they gotta
wait it out.
You gotta wait.
I mean, theaters are open here, so just put it in theaters.
I think
we'll watch it.
They could do an international release and do like a Mulan thing, like for US, just, or at least make it available on streaming for an upcharge. That's it. Like, it's not that bad of an idea, because there's already so many other films coming next year. You don't want it to be, fall under the rug from those.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be smart if they just released it by streaming.
All right, so from there, let's transition to the second event that followed pretty much right after Wonder Woman, and that was the new video game reveal for WB Montreal. So we discussed this briefly in our Suicide Squad video game podcast a couple of days ago, but for this game, again, it's been teased so much. There's been a lot of cryptic tease going on, but now we finally saw a full-fledged trailer. We saw gameplay footage. So I'll give my thoughts first. I thought it was interesting that you kind of are taking place after Arkham Knight. That's what it seems like, because right away it's, Bruce Wayne is saying, this is play this after I die. And then he's talking to, obviously, Robin, Nightwing, and Batgirl, and Jason Todd, right? The Red Hood. So really right away, when you look at the gameplay, I thought it was interesting. I'm not sold on it, I thought it looks a little like, maybe it's because of the nature of the stream, but it doesn't look as smooth as, let's say, Arkham Knight was on PS4. And I don't know if they're showing next gen on this. Was this like PS4, Xbox? I don't know if they're showing, or PS5, but I don't know. I got to see a little more of it. I thought that the premise is interesting because you get to use everyone else, but let's see how it goes. What do you think, Zion?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with most of your points. Like, story-wise, they showed Bruce Wayne who's dead, which is what happens on the end of Arkham Knight. But then you see Barbara Gordon, who's walking in Batgirl again, even though she was in a wheelchair in Arkham Knight. So, it could be in some alternate timeline where it followed some semblance of events where Bruce Wayne is no longer there. Or it could just be a fake out as well, that Bruce Wayne has just been captured, or Court of Owls has him, or they could play any angles. I feel like they were drawing on that to give some kind of connectivity to the previous Arkham games or the Arkhamverse. But it doesn't seem as clear anymore if it's really part of that. And as far as the gameplay, I think it looked pretty cool, honestly, just being able to use those 4 characters. There's theories whether that Robin is actually Tim Drake or Damian Wayne, because he has the look of Damian Wayne, he has the mask, and Tim Drake in the series wore a hood. So let's see how that's going to go. But as far as the gameplay, I attribute that more to the stream, that it didn't look smooth. I feel like when it actually comes out, the final finished product should be as smooth as all the other ones have been.
Omar, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that we haven't really seen it fully finished. It didn't feel like a finished game. Like, it felt,
they did say pre-alpha. So
yeah, right. So I'm more interested in seeing the end product. But as for the concept that we saw, which is basically what the game will be, I think the storyline is cool. I just want to, I want to see more. Like, we just saw, it's just the first kind of tease. But yeah, for me, I think the gameplay's good, but I just want to see more, and I want to see the finished product.
Yeah, and clearly, Samir, what we saw is that Court of Owls are going to be the main villain. I mean, we knew that for a while, but do you think, because the game is still called Batman Gotham Knight, right? Gotham Knights, but there's no Batman in the trailer. Do you think they're going to pull something where we're going to use Batman in the game, or do you think, what do you think Batman's role is going to be?
I think they're gonna bring Batman back. We got that one shot of, like, I don't know, there's like a bunch of frozen, like, caskets sort of, but they were like hanging sideways in the Court of Owls. That was pretty interesting. Maybe they'll do something like that to bring him back, but I guess we'll see. Court of Owls looks really nice. Yeah, I want to be more.
Yeah. And in my opinion, it'd be kind of cool if Court of Owls are bringing Bruce Wayne back himself as the main villain. So when the 4 Gotham Knights, they're going to be seeing Batman as the main boss. That'd be kind of cool. Like, oh, Batman right there. Right? So that's what I think. So let's transition out of that back to movies again. The Flash had a pretty big panel where Andy Muschietti, the director, talked about kind of his vision. We saw concept art. We saw Flash's new costume. We saw Michael Keaton standing next to him. There's a lot going on with that movie, especially with the multiverse. And we just recorded a couple of days ago about how Ben Affleck is coming back. So we'll be quick up with this one. Like, your basic impressions of, where this movie is going. And Umar, you can start first. Like, what did you think about that panel, and what do you think about the trajectory of this movie? I mean, it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger with more you hear about it.
Well, I mean, we have Keaton in it. We have Ben Affleck in it. You have Flash. Now we have confirmed that he's going to have a new suit. And I think Keaton makes it basically because the concept art kind of shows that. So it's a movie. It's an event film. It feels like what Justice League would have been like Flashpoint's an event film. It's not really just a solo. But then when you hear what the writers were saying and the people that were talking about, like Ezra Miller and how he's going to portray the Flash, it also seems like at the heart of it, there's going to be a big emphasis on Flash and his trauma as a child and what he's going to go through. Obviously, Flashpoint is based on that as well. So I'm very interested to see Flashpoint, but it's going to be done in a different way because they have two Batmans. And they're Bruce, so it's not like Jeffrey Dean Morgan's playing Thomas and the story that most of us know. So it's just a new idea, it's a fresh idea, and I'm excited to see Ezra Miller basically back and in the suit.
Yeah, I agree. And you know how Ezra talked about and the directors and all the producers talked about, this really does break open this whole idea of the multiverse, and now it's like pretty much confirmed that they're really bringing everything together, all the iterations, Christopher Reeve, Linda Carter, Michael Keaton, everybody, Adam West, they're all now part of this larger multiverse. And that really does open the doors for as many, anything as possible, really. And with Michael Keaton coming, I'm assuming now he is the Batman from his world, from the Tim Burton verse. So just seeing how that all comes together and how it opens doors for the future, really. And, you know, this Flash movie, once you break through that, this is the first hurdle. So once you get through this one, then they really have so much they can work with and they can use within future projects.
Yeah, it's really shaping up to be like a really hype movie. Going back to the suit, I feel like it looks a lot like the Injustice suit. Like so far, we only saw like a basic silhouette of it, but that's what it looks like. But I hope they don't like downgrade the material of the suit. I like the plated Snyder version of the suit, but I hope they don't like combine the CW version and the DC version to make it like.
Same. For me, I think in a story sense, like imagine when he's going to save his mom, his whole suit rips apart. So when he lands in Michael Keaton's Batcave, he's like complete destroyed suit, so he can't wear it. And then Keaton will be like, "Yo, let me fix you up for something," you know? And that'd be a cool scene. And he makes him the new suit, and then go on whatever adventure that they've cooked up for him, because there are obviously a lot of people are pushing the script. You know, according to Vanity Fair, Ben Affleck actually wrote pieces of the script. Like he told Christina Hudson, who wrote the main script, that here's my notes back, that why don't you make these changes and I'll accept it. So she added in whatever Ben Affleck wanted her to put into the script. So I'm very interested in what he put in. Maybe he had some input on his own dialogue on how Bruce is going to talk to him. So it's going to be very cool to see how that movie shaping up. But for me, like, it's Snyder Cut, Matt Reeves' Batman, and then Flash. Like, these are the three projects that I feel like are going to be shaping up the future of DC. You know, I'm very excited for it.
Even story-wise, I mean, it makes sense because if the story takes place concurrently in 2020, then jumping back to 89 would make sense that Barry's a kid at that time, and the 89 Batman is Michael Keaton. So just even that real-life kind of connectivity to it just gives it a whole nother level of.
That's a good point. Yeah. So we're all set for Flash. So then right after Flash, this is like heels on that panel. We started the panel for the Suicide Squad. So obviously, you know, there's been a lot of, you know, regardless of what you think about James Gunn or you think about the Guardians of the Galaxy films, whatever the case might be, he is the new showrunner for the Suicide Squad franchise going forward. Of course, we all want the Ayer cut to come out, but we'll hear about that later, I'm sure. But for this movie, talking about this movie, this vision, this director, what are we thinking? I'll go first, actually. I gotta be honest, I'm not the most hyped for this movie. Nothing's like screaming to me. Particularly, I know they're gonna really dive into the suicide aspect of Suicide Squad, meaning this is a big cast, but expect more than half to die. Like I don't think very few are going to be surviving the end of the movie. That's why they purposely picked very unknown characters. So when they die, it's like, all right, like, you know, Harley Quinn's not going to die, you know, and Amanda Waller's probably not going to die, but everyone else is on the table, you know, to probably get killed. So it'll be interesting how it happens. But overall, I'm not sure what the movie's exactly going to be, but it's also okay, you know, like I'll be interested to see what more comes out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like they bumped it up with big names just to play on that fact that they're very, you know, unknown characters to the public. And even to most comic book readers, if you really don't pay attention to Suicide Squad the runs, these are relatively unknown characters. So I feel like that's all just part of the marketing play to it. Just have fun with the movie. And yeah, like you said, I mean, you really, outside of the core characters, you don't expect to see some of these other characters in future Suicide Squad films. That's what I think too.
I think James Gunn is going to deliver a good film. I don't think it's gonna be like. I think the problem is like you have one event where you have, again, like I was saying, you have the Batman, you have Snyder Cut stuff that's gonna come. Like you have stuff that's like top tier, and when you have one event with all those things, you have things that will seem just mid, just because you have the top of the top, and then you have stuff that like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think James Gunn's gonna give us a good movie, but I don't think it's gonna be obviously on level with some of the bigger movies, and it's not meant to be. Like, I don't think that's what they're going for anyway. So I think the behind the scenes look is exciting just because you know that James Gunn will probably deliver on the action sequences and the way they showed the behind the scenes. I think the focus for them is the action sequences. So I think we'll get a fun movie. We'll watch it and we'll forget it like the MCU film.
Yeah, the character list was kind of iffy, but after seeing the behind the scenes and James Gunn repeatedly saying that it's the biggest movie he's ever made, it's the best cast he's ever worked with, I think the movie will be all right. I hope Idris Elba doesn't die.
I would probably say you will, but the one thing I think I'm most impressed by this movie, like it was one positive, I was more negative of the group today, but for the one thing I'm positive about is that they said they're using more practical than any other movie he's done on. So practical sets mean they actually were on set shooting, physical, less CGI, and I think the less CGI sometimes does work for a movie. I know things like the Batman are going to be using less CGI as well, so that'll be interesting to see how you make use of that physical set. And obviously, yeah, we'll see next year how that movie comes out because 2021 is shaping up to be a huge year for DC with the amount of heat that's coming. So basically, guys, that covers like the first third of DC Fandome. Just give you guys a quick recap. Wonder Woman 84, the Batman Gotham Knights video game, the Flash movie Inside Look, and the Suicide Squad movie Inside Look. We've covered all that for you guys now. We'll be back in a couple hours for a little movie, people heard of called The Snyder Cut. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and Samir, this is the Farooqi Bros. We'll see you in a couple hours. Peace out.